Hello everybody, it's nearly time for bed. Would you all like a story?
Yes.
Excellent. Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin. This is the story of Red Riding Hood. This is Grandma's house, on the edge of the deep, dark woods.
They look very scary.
It is. And this is Grandma. She lives in her house and looks after her animals. And her granddaughter is Red Riding Hood, and she loves her very, very much. In fact, she loved her so much that it was her that made Red Riding Hood's red cloak that she wore all the time. Red Riding Hood used to spend quite a lot of time coming to visit her grandma, and she'd take her a cake or a loaf of bread or a little treat, and she'd help her grandma tend the farm and the animals.
They all sound very tasty.
They do, don't they? One day Red Riding Hood decided that she was going to take her grandma a cake, as her grandma hadn't been feeling very well lately, and she thought the cake might make her feel better.
That always works.
It does. Yeah, a bit of cake always makes you feel better. So she went to the oven and baked the cake while her parents were out. She packed up her things and prepared to walk off after she'd fed the pigs, because it was a long walk to Grandma's house through the deep dark woods. What she didn't know, though, was that there was a big, bad wolf hiding in the woods near her house.
He looks very mean.
He does, doesn't he? And he saw her and decided to follow her. She looks like a tasty morsel, thought the deep dark wolf, the big bad wolf. And off he went, and he sneaked after her. All through the woods, Red Riding Hood walked along the well-known paths to her grandma's house, and the big bad wolf followed behind her. She reached a little glade. Ooh, what pretty flowers, she thought. I'll pick some for Grandma.
They do look very pretty, don't they?
They do, don't they? So she picked some flowers and put them with the cake, and the wolf
watched intently.
He did indeed. Look at him, you can see him sneaking around looking at her.
Just
thought the wolf.
Almost drooling.
He is. Thought the wolf. I can follow her, or from here I could take a shortcut and get to her grandma's house, and then I can eat her up. And that he did. He ran straight along a shortcut and arrived at the grandma's house. And the door was open, so he let himself in. How evil and sneaky he is. Poor Grandma was lying sick on the bed. Oh no, she thought, who's this that's come into my house? It is I, the big bad wolf, said the wolf. Ah, said the grandma. I'm going to eat you up, and then I'm going to eat up your delicious granddaughter. No, 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 said the granny. Yes, said the wolf.
Very mean.
And he gobbled her up.
That's not a pretty sight.
No. So he sat down on the bed, gave a big burp, and decided to lie down and wait for Red Riding Hood to come in. He covered himself up with Grandma's blankets to disguise himself. He thought, that granny was tasty, but Red Riding Hood will be better. In the meantime, Red had got to the woodcutter's house. He lived in the deep dark woods, obviously, because there's plenty of trees to cut down, and she quite often went past and said hi and maybe shared a little bit of cake with him. She told him that her grandma was feeling ill and that she was on her way to bring her a cake. Jolly good, said the woodsman. Eventually, Red Riding Hood reached her granny's house, but all was still and quiet. She peeked in the windows, but couldn't see anybody. She let herself in, but the house seemed to be empty. Oh no, where's my grandma? She thought. Maybe she's down in her bedroom.
I think she is.
So she went down the stairs, and there on the bed was a huddled figure. Oh my goodness, she thought, my grandma must be terribly ill to look like this.
Maybe it's not your grandma, Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that. Oh, Grandma, she said. What big eyes you have. All the better to see you with, my dear, said the wolf. Ooh, Grandma, what big ears you have. All the better to hear you with, my dear, said the wolf. Oh, Grandma, what big teeth you have. All the better to eat you with, my dear, said the wolf, and he sprang up off the bed and gobbled her up whole.
Oh God, that's not very nice.
No. And with that he lay back on the bed, his stomach full to bursting, and began to snore. Now the woodsman, on hearing that Granny was ill, decided to pay his respects, and as he neared the Granny's cottage, he could hear the most awful snoring. That can't be the old woman, he thought to himself.
Yeah.
I'd better go and check. So down he went and opened the doors, and there on the bed was the wolf. So he chopped him up into little bitty wolf-bitty bits. And as he sliced open his stomach, out popped Red Riding Hood, and out popped the Granny. And the wolf shuddered and died on the bed. Oh, Granny, said Red Riding Hood, that was awful. I'm so glad we're okay. Thank you, Mr. Woodsman, said the Granny and Red Riding Hood. You saved our lives. All in a day's work for Steve, said the woodsman, happily. They took the wolf's body out the back and buried him in a little hole where he wouldn't bother anybody ever again. And then they all lived happily ever after. Right, now it's time for sleep. Let me tuck you all in. I hope you enjoyed this story. Come on then, Grum, it's time for bed.
That was a very nice story, Brab.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, everybody.